Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, to review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. The person we have up first is a software engineer new grad, but they didn't tell me what they are. You need to tell me what you are. There are so many different types of software engineers, like 5 of them. It's 5 different types of most common, and they all have different qualifications. I look up the qualifications beforehand. I don't memorize these because I maybe full stack by this point, but I have lists. I need you to tell me. And in fact, I'm pretty sure this is the problem, is you don't know what you are. Resumes are focused. That goes for everybody, not just software engineers. Resumes are highly focused. If you have a resume that can do everything, it will do everything but get you an interview. You need to be focused on a job title per resume. So this person said they have strong experience, such as Roblox and Amazon. That actually is really strong experience. I just think it's funny out of context. It's like, I have strong experience in Roblox. It's very true. They have like a very popular game, and there's probably a lot of stuff on the back end, but I think that's funny. But they can't convert it into interviews. 0 interviews from this resume, even with 4 referrals. The referrals make sense because referrals, unless that person knows the manager directly or is them, a referral isn't going to really do much. And 1 interview from a recruiter reach out on LinkedIn. That's actually really good. I wonder if it's the Ruby because it's rare. Super appreciate that you're doing this for free and looking forward to the interview. So, review. All right. So, I did a meter read of this real quick. That'll be episode, I have no idea. I do that later. I think 37 or something. And the big thing is that there's no focus here. So, your resume needs to be focused. Again, not just for software engineers, every single person. In the case of software engineers specifically, there are 5 types, maybe 6. So 5 most common types. And that is full stack, front end, back end Java, back end Python, back end whatever, C, .NET, Sharp, ++. And there also in that case would be back end Ruby if you're doing Ruby, and probably COBOL as well. If you need to focus your resume on one of those. If your resume does all of that, it will do nothing. And that's your problem, is I couldn't find what I needed. Now, your first thing is, well, hold on, there's a skills section right here. Skills sections are garbage. I understand why people recommend them. I understand why other recruiters recommend them. They are wrong. This is a hill I will stand on until the end of time. Skills sections are worthless. The reason they recommend them is because they're not able to convey what you should be doing. And yes, I would rather have in a hot market someone put a skill in a skill section than nothing. But it's like a failure state. Like, by putting it in a skills section, you're already admitting that you can't show me where you've done it in the qualifications themselves, which is why it's a failure state. So, first off, formatting. Use my formatting. It's on my website, along with my guide. I highly recommend it. It should look like this. It's not the worst formatting, but it's still off. This should be 2 lines max. This should be 1 line. This should be 1 line. Nothing here should be bolded. Again, delete the skill section. And nothing here should be bolded. Also, you don't want to lead with Roblox. You want to say software engineer at, or software engineer, Roblox, intern, whatever. But you should have your title first. So, it is good experience, by the way. So, here's where you start failing, right? If by chance I thought you were a Python dev at first, I looked at this and was like, okay, so maybe they're a back-end Python software engineer. These are the qualifications for a back-end Python software engineer. If you look at this, I see that you have Python, good. I see you have Docker and Kubernetes, good. And nothing else. So I couldn't move you forward. Oh, CI/CD. There we go, 4, CI/CD. I need about 75% of these. That's about 50%. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll find it in the next one. And again, it's okay to add a little bit of AI because it's hot, but like, I need SQL. I need cloud. I need RESTful APIs. Can't move you forward. Agile, Git. Both of those are needed. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're not. Then down here, you're a Java engineer. And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe you're a Java backend developer. And in which case, the qualifications for a Java backend developer are going to be this. Boop. Java, Spring Boot, SQL, RESTful API. SQL is for both of them. You need SQL. And lo and behold, you had AWS, which was good. You had Java, but you didn't have anything else. And then I go down, and then you also only have AWS and nothing else. And then down here, you're full stack. Cool. Okay, so if I'm looking for a full stack, which I didn't even get to in your resume, by the way, I did not have that much time. I need this stuff, which is TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, and then Python. It's actually Python or TypeScript. And if I go down there, I see TypeScript. I see Node and Vue, which is what I want for front end, but not full stack. I'm aware of how that sounds. It's still true. And nothing else. Your resume has a little bit of everything, and that's why it's failing. Now, I'm not saying you have to pick a specialization. I'm not saying because you're a new grad, what you need to do is you're like, oh no, I should have picked a stack. I'm just saying focus it, right? You should have maybe 3 to 4 resumes for this, right? One for front end, one for back end, one for whatever you want. And again, I'm not saying you should specialize for the rest of your career, but they hire based on stacks. If a resume is not based on, if it doesn't have the qualifications we need, it's junk. So while I will say I don't have AI is pretty hot in here, so I think that could probably be in the extra section, but I would need SQL for sure, RESTful APIs, and then the other stuff that I'd be looking for. So I don't see it, because remember, it doesn't count if it's here. I have to see how you did it and the reason and result you did it. In fact, the biggest disconnect, you want to know the biggest disconnect between literally everybody and the hiring team, is the resume's purpose. The purpose of the resume is to show you meet the minimum qualifications to move to an interview. That's it. That's the entire purpose. That's why you need to put JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, because yeah, it's the minimum qualifications, but if you are going to, like, if you're an international football star, right, this is a terrible metaphor, let me redo this. If you're applying to be a football star, and in that interview as a football star, because that's how interviews work, you can be a football star. I know nothing about football. You're like, yeah, I can, I've gone to a bunch of charities. I've cured world hunger. I know what a football is. And they're like, okay, cool. Can you carry the ball? And it's like, no. Okay, well, can you kick the ball? No. Can you score it into the goal post? Again, I don't know football. They're like, no. You don't meet the minimum qualifications. Like, it doesn't matter how amazing or crazy cool you're looking. It doesn't matter. I don't care that you've ingested and cleaned 10 million chats. I care that you used Python for it and Pandas. That's it. That's all that matters. That is the biggest secret. You don't stop watching my videos. Please keep watching. But if you want to just stop right now, if it's not in your resume, it doesn't exist. That's the #1 rule. If it's not in your resume, it doesn't exist. So put it in your resume and focus it, because right now there's so much stuff that I don't even know what you are or what you do. So that's all I can do for this resume. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep watching the videos. Please do. And, if you need more help, you can always go to my Twitch live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST for about however long I go. I'm trying to go longer, so 3, 4, 5, whatever hours. At twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a sales development representative or a business representative, business development representative, which did actually look like they had the same qualifications. This is in Canada specifically, which I need to add because, again, the US version of this may be slightly different. But what we're looking for is not a lot. I know it looks like there's a lot of qualifications, but it was really just the type of software you use specifically related to sales. So like HubSpot, Outreach, ZoomInfo, Salesforce. Cold calling, SDR or BDR, which is the acronym of that. Customers, that you've talked to customers. Your industry, again, so like SaaS or healthcare. I guess Canada probably wouldn't have as much for healthcare, but basic computing skills, B2B, that you can talk to everybody from the person lowest on the company hierarchy to the CEO themselves. outreach through phone, email, and text, which I guess sort of implies cold calling, and teamwork, and that you are hungry. This is a huge thing in sales, is everybody says you need to be hungry, you need to be driven, and it's probably why I'm not really into sales, because that one's never quite made as much sense to me, but you need to be like money hungry specifically for this. They do like that. So let's see if I can find those. I don't think they are. This person says it's been incredibly difficult they've been tailoring every resume carefully, and that's immediately your problem. If you tailor your resume, you're going to lose. You need to tailor it to the job title, not the job itself, because you need to be able to send out your resume in mass apply. The reason for that is ATSs. Everybody says that ATS is scanning your keywords. No, well, some do. It's very, very, very rare in the market. The reality is 99% of them first come, first serve. If I find who I'm looking for after candidate number 75 in our system, I'm going to stop looking. On average, for a normal, non-crazy hot market, it takes about 150 applications to guarantee a hire. On average. Again, there's a lot of wiggle room for that. So if you are not in the first 100 or 110, because again, you don't want to be on the other end of that average, you are probably not going to get seen. So the fact that this person was customizing their resume to everyone made it worse. And then they also sent me their ChatGPT prompts they used, which props for your research. This looks pretty solid, but ChatGPT is garbo for making resumes. It's an inherent flaw with LLMs, including hallucinations, is they don't do things very specific, and resumes are very, very specific. So what you do is you take 10 to 15 of these good job descriptions, find the qualifications from there, build your resume based on those. So all that being said, can I actually find this in 20 seconds? Let's find out. All right. Again, summaries don't matter. Again, skill sections can be ignored. Client appointments in Salesforce, actually good, what I'm looking for. Wow, the one time I'm not looking for Excel. But it does show basic computing skills. Client office. Okay, yeah, so I don't see how you are related to a business development rep. So this is the primary problem with this, is I don't see how you are related to this at all. If you have a summary, there's really only 3 reasons you want one. You need to A, explain a visa, B, you are relocating, because relocating is basically a very, very bright yellow flag, or alternatively, you're changing industries. I don't know if you're changing industries or not, but I don't see this stuff, because again, it has to be here. It is good you have VLOOKUP and CRM. They would like that. So, especially Salesforce. So the next one is discrepancies, design retention. Yeah, so you're not having any luck. Also your bachelor's at the bottom. Your bachelor should be up at the top. Because I don't see how you have any of those qualifications. Because remember, if it's here or here, it doesn't count. A qualification that is not under a job, an internship, or a project does not exist on your resume, unless it's a certificate. So this is close to what I'd be looking for, but you don't put it here, except for Excel, VLOOKUP, and CRM, which is good in Salesforce. You did have those, but you don't show me how you're hungry for money, how you worked with people on a team, how you could talk to people from the janitor to the CEO, to cold calling, to SDR, to even your industry. There's nothing here that I'm looking for that I would for a business development representative or a sales development representative. And it's not like you have to even have the related title. I just don't see it, because this is what I'm looking for. If I don't find that, again, not here, this does not count. If I don't find it here, it doesn't count. So let me dig a little deeper. No one's going to do this to your resume, but I want to make sure I can review it well. Excel, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff with Excel. Documentation, delivered frontline support. It could be. So again, this is okay for multitasking, which can be one. But there's so many percentages. Like Scheduled 30 sessions, process 100 plus transactions. We can cut wait times by 15% and boosting renewals. Here's the problem with this. A, no one can see it because I can't scroll down far enough, but this is not what they're looking for. The problem is boosting renewals could be considered sales. Upselling would be upselling would be something they'd be looking for. But I don't see you do that. Your entire and this is another problem of ChatGPT for resumes is they obliterate what you do. They make it so broad that it doesn't matter anything. I don't see that. So you're having an issue for A, customizing for each role, but B is if this is the resume you are sending for a sales rep, I see nothing. I see nothing I could use to move you forward besides this and Excel, which again, those are good, but you need 75% of these to move forward. That's, I don't know, I'm not good with math, like 20% or something, less 2%, not 2%, I'm not that bad with math, but yeah, there's just nothing there. I mean, used by leadership, but you're talking to, this is a sales role. Man, this is like the only resume where I'm going to be like, you don't want that much Excel. It's okay to have some, but this is the stuff I'm looking for. So don't use ChatGPT. Read my guide. It'll teach you how to do it. You don't have to remake your resume for every role. You have to do it once per resume you need, unless you mess up. And then that's it. Then you can let that resume ride. You don't have to keep remaking it. It's a lot easier this way. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a material science engineering intern. And I will be honest, I could not find the qualifications for it. I could not find a single material science position, so I'm not really sure what the actual qualifications are for this one. I'm going to assume it's going to be AutoCAD, Revit, and probably Microsoft Office, along with working well with others, and probably how you took criticism and direction. So I'm not going to judge this too much on qualifications because I couldn't do it. If you want to comment below and you give me a better title to find, I can. But remember, I don't know all of these by heart. Have to look them up. So, and if I can't find them, if I can't really find them out of like 3,000 jobs, I can't really help you. So this person actually seems like they have a pretty good ratio, which I'll be honest, like, look, if you're getting an internship every 1 in 25 applications, you're good. That's phenomenal for an internship. So you may want to even go back to what you were using before, because, you know, I know my format works. I know my stuff works very well, but if you were getting 25, whatever you were doing, that's amazing. So, although I don't really know. They just had like 4 internships and an offer. So, let's check it out. Took direction from engineering team to help community designs, client expectation technicians. Good. Used AutoCAD to correct and revise electrical wirings. This was actually exactly what I said. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, that was basically what I assumed the qualifications would be. And I guessed right. Network cables, electrical panels, pretty solid. Perform sample preparation and polishing for irrigation. So I would add a teeny bit more of the technical stuff. So when you're looking for internships, and I don't know what these are, you're going to want to add some tools. So for like electrical engineer, it was like a oscilloscope or whatever. There it is, microscope. Yeah, this is great. My only thing is minor formatting complaints. I think this will still get interviews. This is fantastic. This should be one line and not bolded. This should not be bolded. You want to make it look like this, but your content is fantastic. I don't know what the qualifications are, but I'm willing to bet you meet them. This is exactly how I would write an intern resume. Clients and tech, yep, this is really good. I would add maybe something small about how you took direction, but you've been working here for a couple of stuff already, so that's kind of implied. Time to build a kin, temperatures. Yeah, this is good. I did a really quick review. That is really good. I don't have a ton of notes. This is exactly how I would have told you to write it, except for very minor formatting issues. And again, I'd rather have someone have minor formatting issues than bad bullet points. So, fantastic. I would double check the qualifications to see if you're missing something, or come on the stream and we can find out together, but this A+. A+. Good job. You should be getting a lot of stuff for this. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a new grad of computer science. They are an international student, and after 500 applications, they got interviews from 5 companies and received an offer for 2 of them. So, what you're assuming I'm about to say is that 100-to-1 ratio, which is what you would have about there if it's about 500 and you got 5 offers, it's about 100-to-1, is awful. For an international student, that's actually a good ratio. So again, international students have it way worse, especially for new grad. New grads have it tough. New grad internationals have it even tougher. Well, specifically once the H-1B, it's a little easier for the OPT, but so it's actually not terrible. I'm actually expecting this front-end engineer resume to be okay. Probably a little bit off, but again, I don't think that's awful for a international student for your first role. So I'm assuming you're not looking to move, but you wanted to show it, but whatever. So what we're looking for in a front end is JavaScript, React, Angular, HTML, CSS, PHP, SQL, Scrum, Agile, RESTful APIs, SEO, Git, Docker, Jira, Vue, Next, and a bonus for extra language such as Cloud, UI, UX, Sass, TypeScript, and WordPress. So, all right. Let's see if I can find those in 20 seconds. And I'm going to assume I'm going to find maybe like 20 or like 50% at least. So let's go. All right. React, good. TypeScript is a bonus. Via this device code. Oh, wow. No, I actually don't. Shocking. Interesting. Nope. GraphQL, nope. Java. Wow. This is worse than I thought. This might be more than 500 might be on the low end then. Yeah, I actually don't find anything I need. Wow, that was shocking. I was expecting to find some with a ratio like that. Design tools and infrastructure. Yeah, there's like nothing here. Are you sure you're applying for a front-end role? Because like this was kind of full stacky. I'm still going to need JavaScript and everything else, but it kind of reads a little bit more like that. Also, everybody puts GraphQL. I don't think I've seen a single role require GraphQL. I understand you may do stuff with that at the job, but they like never ask for it. So yeah, so the biggest problem I have here is I don't see any of this. If I'm looking for front end, which again, I don't know if we actually are looking for a front end role, this might be more of a full stack. I am looking for JavaScript, React, Angular, JS, HTML, and CSS, PHP. I don't really see that. I really do see a little bit more for full stack, so I'm wondering if they are applying more for full stack roles. I would still need, again, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, but if you're a front-end dev and the very first thing I read is not JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, you have probably already failed. You need that to be up front and center. The formatting is a little bit off, but yeah, if you don't have the first line of this, basically, it's going to be rough. It's like showing up to, you know what, it'd be like trying to code without a computer. You could pass, but it's going to be so hard because you're going to be whiteboarding. I don't know if that translates. That's a little more tech than I know, but it's bad. You need to make sure that is in the first line. Your stack should be blindingly obvious, and I don't see it. Because again, CI/CD, TypeScript, and React is there, are going to be more useful for full stack than front end. So, this needs to be a little bit different. A lot different. So first off, whatever you're going for, I need you to focus. So if you're going for full stack, state full stack. Did I misread this? This is, no, it says front engineer. See, front engineer, so you know what? That might be my bad. You said front engineer. I assumed you meant front end. You might not be meaning that. So yeah, you need to fix some stuff. But again, congrats on the offer. That's really good. But if you want to apply to other jobs, you need to focus it. I can give you the qualification list from each of those besides C, but you're not into C anyway. But I need you to focus your resume. Your resume needs to be focused on a job title. And for software engineering, that is a job title stack. So let's go to the next resume. These are some very quick resume reviews. This is a resume of it's senior executive or chief of staff. I don't know about the chief of staff part. That part kind of confused me, but this is a resume of at least a senior executive assistant. So for an executive assistant, what we're going to be looking for is your education. They usually do want to see that you've got a degree, Outlook, MS Office, or Google, whatever the equivalent for Google Office is. I always forget the names. And Excel, Word, PDF, PowerPoint. These are massive. I feel like if I don't find this in the first, like, 3 sentences, you're probably not going to move forward. You absolutely need this, especially for an executive assistant. That you have talked with C-suits or stakeholders or board of directors, basically the big shots that run the company. Are you able to talk to them without, like, putting your foot in your mouth? Zoom, Microsoft Teams, anything that they communicate with. Multitasking is giant. Normally, it's always good to put how you've multitasked, but for an executive assistant, that's like your main job, along with attention to detail. So no spelling errors. Normally people get like, oh my god, if I have a single spelling error, I'm gonna get rejected. Not really. Like, spelling errors happen. Me and a manager have made fun of spelling errors on a resume of people that we hired. So spelling errors are not you're gone. But for this type of role, where your job is like an admin assistant or executive assistant, your grammar needs to be impeccable. So if I can find a spelling mistake, that is a disqualification. Normally it's not that bad, but this is one of those few roles. Finding creative solutions to challenges, setting up meetings, editing, and that, I don't know why editing's there. That shouldn't be there. And then Mac OS, Windows, and learn new software quickly. If you look at a lot of roles for this, oh, by the way, these pay big. You want to be a software engineer? No, you want to be a senior executive assistant. They were making, one of them was for Roblox. I don't know why Roblox keeps coming up. This is not a joke. It was $75 an hour minimum. Excuse me. $75 an hour to $95 an hour, which equates to about $140 to $180K a year for an executive assistant at Roblox. Free advertising there. So, you want to make money. The rest of them were more in the $120K range. So, if you want to make a lot of money, you be an executive assistant. Probably more money than I'm going to make. It was insane. There's a lot. So, with all that being said, there was a common theme. Your job as an executive assistant, if you break it down, is the CEO or the director or whoever the big shot is really busy. They don't have time to get their Gmail to work with a password reset. If their Apple product is having an issue, you need to be able to fix it and find out how to handle it so that they don't wait in line for 4 hours, because that's a waste of their time, and that is your job. So that is why there's a ton of these like Outlook and MS Office and stuff, is because they're having trouble with it and your job is to fix it. So let's see if I can find that. But before, let's look at what this person actually said. Job searches suck. You know what? Agreed. I understand that. The way I view recruiters we are the dentists of the hiring of the corporate world. Nobody wants to see us. Nobody's ever excited to see us. They only do it when they're in extreme pain and they have no other choice. And the best we can do is to minimize the pain, but never completely remove it. So I think specifically recruiters are like dentists. They have a lot of experience in coordinating a lot of different scenarios and logistics, so ideally would like to crack into the chief of staff level. Those might be 2 separate resumes. I specifically looked for executive assistant, went out to produce blah, blah, blah. I would love to crack into tech or healthcare AI. Have no ego about learning a new industry. I'm an incredible right-hand person, and I know how to get stuff done. All right, so first off, you actually committed a critical error in that you didn't scrub your information. You actually accidentally doxed yourself, which would be a disqualification. So you kind of immediately failed out of the gate, unless that's a fake name and number, which I didn't realize. So again, I cannot scroll past from here. So, which admittedly you might have not put your game face on when you submit it to me, and I understand that. So let's see if I can, besides that, which is a pretty critical error, find what I'm looking for. So the stop, nope. Okay, now we're starting. All right. Operational anchor. Okay, high volume calendars. No, you have to tell me why it was high volume. Executive communications, supported day to day. I mean, some of this is okay. Complex scheduling, this one's nice, but yeah. So I'm already done. No, I'm not going to even go farther. You didn't show any of this stuff. This basic tech knowledge is massive. This is critical for this type of role. The people at this level may not know how easy it is to use this stuff. Your job is to be in charge of this. If they have an email issue and they're 30 minutes late for a meeting, they could be losing millions of dollars, or alternatively something else. And even if that's not true, it doesn't matter, because your job is to fix that stuff. You have to be a little bit of tech support. I don't see that in this resume at all. Not at all. So first off, your formatting is awful. Use this formatting. I cannot scroll down to see if you have a degree or not, because I do not want to dox you and you forgot to scrub your information. But use this formatting. Secondly, you need this stuff, right? Like, I don't see Zoom, I don't see Teams. I do see, and there is some okay stuff with stakeholders, but you also don't tell me how, right? Like, you can't just say, I recruited good. You have to say, I recruited, I broke records by filling in the West Coast within my first 3 months of hire. That's how I know I did good at the recruits stuff. You don't tell me that. I'm still very tired of this. My words are all over the place, and I'm kind of hyper and sleepy at the same time. But you don't tell me any of that. You don't say any of that. You say vendor management, engagement, and clinical operations. Cool. I don't care. I want to know how you did it. I want to know the reason you did it. Did the CEO say, hey, Bob McBoberson, I'm not able to log into my Gmail. Can you log in and send 3 emails for me? Cool. Do that. That's part of your job. That's probably most of your day-to-day is transcribing. I had a relatively similar of this for one of the greatest bosses I've ever worked with. I did an executive assistant admin kind of role. And I know what this stuff is. You're not explaining it. In fact, I think on my LinkedIn, I want to actually look to see if I still have this, because this was a long time ago, and oh man, that hurts my soul that was that long ago. Let me even see if I had it, because this was kind of the stuff that I had to do. So I'm good scrolling down right now on my LinkedIn on another page. Let's see if I still have it. Okay, cool. Personal assistant. Let's see. I created custom Excel documents to assist with the large volume of donations that contributed to the event chair, increasing their daily call volume from 20 cold calls a day to 65. There, that's how you can write that. That was like me 10 years ago, so I would probably rewrite some of that as well. But you need to say, like, create an Excel spreadsheet that allowed the CEO to do what, or that allowed the C-suite or the president. The problem is this is so vague, you don't say anything. Managed high-volume calendar meetings, logistics with sound judgment, precision means nothing. I want to know that you've done, like, calendar management, which I guess I should have had on here, but you can't just say it was high volume. You have to say, multiple things with the CEO, transcribing, I was doing all of this, and I did it perfection, and it was amazing. So you don't tell me anything. I don't think this is ChatGPT, but it is like reads like one, right? Like, there's no detailed information. You have to be specific. You have to be very detailed in what you give. Because again, I want to see, like, manage the CEO's calendar, Gmail, Outlook, transcribed meetings, and lunch orders every day, while making sure to ensure high grammatical accuracy on Gmail and Outlook or whatever, right? Like, I need more details. I could not move you forward with this. This pays big bucks. You want to be a software engineer and make money? No. You go into you want to be this. Executive assistants make a lot of money. You have to be very precise with your verbiage. You need to tell me how you did it, and you do not do that. So fix, like, everything. You really don't have almost anything here, and that will get you a position. So let's go to the next resume. This is the resume of a back-end Python developer. I'm not actually sure. They didn't tell me. They just said software engineer, and that they are looking for entry-level roles in back-end or full stack, but you need to tell me specifically. So maybe this is full stack. They have not gotten any callbacks after a direct application. So this means this resume is probably garbage. I'm sorry, my beard is itching my nose. The struggles of a beard nobody tells you about, or the mustache, I should say. So yeah, this has never been, and they've also applied early. So basically, this resume is the reason. So that's a scam. Go away, scam call. I don't need you. So we're looking for either this, if this is Python, or alternatively, If this is a full stack resume, we are looking for this right down here. All right, that looks kind of absolutely insane, but whatever. So these are the two things we're looking for. I'm going to remove this right here. I don't know which one they're doing, and I'm going to try and see if I can find it. I am assuming I'm not going to be able to because it is that many rejections. They have gotten like hundreds of resumes and no interviews. So away we go. Developed a, okay, Masters of Science, that's good. A Python automation, okay, good. What is, what? I don't know what that is. Nothing, API, okay, there's absolutely nothing here. Nothing, CI/CD, okay. Nothing, microservices, which I don't care about. Oh, I actually missed the sequel almost. CI/CD, yeah, okay, there's nothing in this resume. There's practically nothing. You almost gave me a blank page. So this is, first off, why you don't bold this, because my eyes were so focused on microservices, which I don't care about for Python backend usually, which is really weird, but that's the case, that I actually almost missed SQL. And I did miss MongoDB. I actually didn't even see that because I missed it. Yeah, this is a garbage resume. This is really bad. Oh my goodness. And you're an international, so you need an extra amazing resume. Okay, so first off, you need to delete this all. Delete all of this. This is all not good. So when I'm looking for a software engineer, I am not looking that you generated alt text for 5,000 images boosting WCAG. I don't know what that is. I'm not looking for WACG, whatever that is. I'm looking for Python, SQL, Docker, Kubernetes, Django, Cloud, and its words, so AWS and EC2 and whatever the equivalency for that is for Azure and GCP. RESTful APIs, Agile, Git, CI/CD. If it's a Python role, backend. If I'm looking for a full stack role, I'm looking for TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally, bonus points for architecture, extra language, and Git. Those are what I'm looking for. I will, again, spoilers for every single one of my videos. You are assuming I want something I don't want. I don't care, okay? I don't care that you saved manual hours. In fact, the hiring manager might not care either. My advice is for both the recruiter and the hiring manager to get past both, because I think an advice that gets past one is not very helpful. So none of this matters. None of this is needed, except for the CI/CD and the Python. So a better sentence than literally all of these would be if you said, developed a Python automation pipeline using SQL, Docker, Kubernetes, Django in an AWS and Agile environment. That alone would be better than everything on here. I know you put time into this. I know you're worried. I know you're panicked. And I probably have a right to be. It's exhausting doing this. It's exhausting to look for a job when you're not on a time clock as an international student. You have to be better than everybody else, and that sucks. But this is not how you do it. You don't show that during the resume. If your resume shows you better than others, you are probably getting rejected. The interview is where you do show that. In the interview, it is a bell curve. You do need to prove you are better than everybody else in the interview. But on the resume, you don't. The resume's point is not to show how amazing you are. It's not to show that you could automate 100 CI/CD tests and repeat pipelines using Jenkins Job Builder, enabling zero downtime migration and reducing deployment incidents by 73% through reproducible version controlled job configs. It's to show you meet the basic minimum qualifications, and these are the basic minimum qualifications. They have been for a while. Whenever this is wrong, I will update it, but so far I've been right for like 7+ years. So you need to focus on what actually matters. If it's not related to the qualification of the job title you are going for, not the job itself, the job title, then it's not relevant. It just doesn't matter. And I want you to be able to get a job so that you can stay in the place you want to stay. I don't want that clock to have to do that, because I've worked with immigration candidates. That clock is a nightmare. It's just like a sword of Damocles hanging over you the whole time. Just tick, 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 tick. I don't know why the sword of Damocles was a clock in that analogy, but whatever. I'm very tired and sleepy. But yeah, this doesn't work. And stop bolding everything. So fix everything. Literally delete this and try again. And I'm not trying to say this being, I'm not saying that whatever you did by collaborating with UX accessibility and reducing rear view errors wasn't impressive. I'm saying I wouldn't even recognize that that was impressive. And I have hired a lot of tech people. I have taught other recruiters how to hire tech. And when my training is complete, what they end up doing is filling roles faster with better quality candidates than they did before. So it works. I know what I'm doing here, despite how basic and crazy looking I am. But please, and I'm telling you this, I'm taking off my headband. Oh, no, it's stuck. That's not good. Okay, yeah, I'm telling you right now. This is just me. Lee to you, please. For all the money in the world, make it basic, make it simple, make it understandable by the layman. If it's not in the qualifications, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how important it is. It does not. And with that note, you may not even need to watch any more of my videos. Please do. I hope you do, but that's going to be the thing for everyone. It is me convincing you that I am correct on this, which is honestly like 50% of a recruiter's job. There's so much me having to prove that I actually do know what I know. And then they listen to me, and then they hire, and then they never need me again because they've implemented my systems and I have to do the process over again. But yeah, you need to have what we want, or it doesn't matter. So that's all I can do for this resume. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully you watch more of my videos. And if you need more help, you can go to my Twitch chat every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. till whenever. Usually about a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5, at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I will see you in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.